And tonight, 4 people have been charged in connection with a Lawrenceville woman's overdose death at a Miami music festival. Florida authorities say she collapsed and later died after taking MDMA, which is commonly called ecstasy. Atlanta News First reporter Bridget Spencer is live in Sandy Springs tonight. And Bridget, police there played a role in these arrests?
Right. So the Sandy Springs Police Department actually helped Florida authorities make some of these arrests. Some of these suspects were based out of here in Metro Atlanta, and police are saying they conspired to kill 24-year-old Jenny Ha-Lei. Now, police say it was last March, almost a year ago, when the 24-year-old from Lawrenceville went down to Miami to the Ultra Music Festival, but she never came home. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement says she overdosed and died after taking MDMA, also known as ecstasy or Molly. Now, police are saying Carmen Lowe, the woman you see there, conspired to kill Lei, working alongside alleged MDMA dealer Charlene Forty, who is charged in this case with first-degree murder. Now, police also arrested 2 others, Hannah Lee Wynn and Tan Lee, in connection to this death.
Someone can be charged with first-degree murder if they unlawfully distribute a controlled substance to a person. Intent to kill is not required to charge murder under this statute.
Yeah, in just over a week or so, that festival is set to start up again in Miami. And at that press conference in Florida, Miami police, they say they will not tolerate this, and they are doing all they can to keep the festival safe and keep illegal drugs out of the festival grounds. We're live in Sandy Springs. Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.